Welcome, everybody. Just a couple of guys. Pat Crimmins here, along with my host, partner, Ray Rogina. And we're here live at not live, I guess. We're here at Aurelio's, downtown Geneva.
We're live.
We're live right now, yes. We're live too, I think. But this is our Christmas party. We invited a variety of people, and we hope to talk to them about all things podcast, and we're also going to talk about our trip that is getting very close to being real, which is our trip to Italy in October. Ray, what's going on with you? You have any good holiday season?
I want to start by saying one thing. As new people walk in, we have just crowds of people walking in.
Please eat the food.
I said in our last podcast that Pat was missing because he was working on his podcast.
That's
now
right.
We've got. I see all the food lined up over here. I see the drink. I see people gathering here. We're gonna have a big crowd here, and I want to commend you publicly for putting this all together and working with the people here at Aurelio's in Geneva.
Our good friends.
Yeah,
Kevin and Tracy, Sarah.
They're friends of the podcast, and of course, you know, at Aurelio's, it's always the sauce. It's the sauce.
It's the sauce, and we're very excited to be here. We're gonna probably have our Christmas review a little bit later on, maybe a week or so. But I think today we're gonna interview a lot of people and try and have a lot of fun. Talk to some people that were in Ireland with us, and talk about the trip, and then talk about Italy a little bit, right?
Everybody just seems to be lively here. Everybody's in the Christmas spirit. So I suspect that we're going to have a wonderful evening, and you're going to hear from a lot of different people and so on. We're just here to have fun today, though. There's nothing. The content here is nothing more than fun.
The record should be clear. I've only had a few sips of this drink that was given to us by Kevin and Sarah.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Kevin, for that. So I think it's time to take a little break, maybe.
With that, we're going to go to a sponsor and have a commercial word, and we'll be back with what can only be called Christmas madness at Aurelio's.
With just a couple of guys. Pat, our first interview here.
Very excited.
And a guy that we know.
Yes, he's been on the podcast at least once, maybe twice.
Yes, it's been fun.
Brent Kopstedt from Geneva Winery, locations in Geneva on 3rd Street and in Batavia on
River Street.
Yes. In that beautiful old building.
It's amazing.
Hey, we know your wines are great. Let's talk
Thank
about
you.
some new things you got going on.
Well, we just recently in November started in Geneva. It's now Geneva Winery and Coffee House.
Coffee house. Pat,
Yes.
you like coffee.
I do like coffee.
We opened up every morning at 6 a.m. for the commuters in Metro and all the local downtown community. And we have a full line of espressos, teas, matcha teas, chai teas, you name it, we make it.
Hey, now, when Pat and I were in Batavia, we talked about a cigar room, didn't we, Pat?
That's right, we did.
Now, where's that going?
That's down the road there.
All right.
Didn't we also talk about hamburgers or something like that? A little kitchen?
I would love hamburgers.
Yeah, I can make those.
The fact of the matter is that his wines are great. There's no doubt about it. And you talk to people in Batavia and Geneva, and they'll tell you the same thing. So make sure Geneva Winery, you take care of it. Our guy, Brent Kopstedt. Thank you, sir.
50% off on coffee to the end of the month with the promo code COFFEE.
Wow.
Happy New Year from Brent.
Cheers.
Look who's here, Pat.
Oh, my very excited.
A real friend of the podcast.
Yes, I am.
She's been here 5 minutes. My stomach muscles are already sore from laughing.
Lori Milbourne, comedian extraordinaire. We talked to her for the first time. Of course, I've known her forever, but and so have you, Pat.
Yes.
But we talked to her for the first time on our podcast. Yes, down at the Comedy Vault in Batavia.
Yes.
And then what did we talk to her the second time? Let's see how good you are.
The second time I wasn't there.
Oh,
you talking
That's
about-
right. She came to our basement, and Diane and I talked to her.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Comedian
now we're
extraordinaire.
back together.
Tell us about what's coming up in your life as far as performances, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, well, I'm having a wonderful life. And
Good.
we actually just did a show at Riverlands Brewing, and we are going to be booking a couple more shows there, including the Going to My Happy Place comedy yoga at Riverlands Brewing. So if you want to do some yoga, but not too much yoga, more laughing, it's pretty fun.
What about New Year's Eve? We doing anything
I
special?
am not. No, yeah, I'm going to be
You know,
babysitting.
Ray and I can have some people over in his basement. You can entertain.
okay,
Maybe.
yeah. I'll show up. I'll do a couple of sets and then we'll go. Yeah.
I want you to know that my wife went to Boomer
Boomer Broads.
Boomer Broads at
yes.
the Moonlight Theater and thought it was absolutely wonderful.
Good. I'm so glad she loved it, and you said her friends and everybody they loved it. Yeah, it
And
was
we are
really
happy
fun.
that you're here enjoying
Yes.
the pizza and the beer.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks
All
for
right.
having this great party.
Lori Milbourne, always somebody you should know.
And these two, they're the best.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
you.
Just a couple of guys in Geneva would not be the same unless we had the number one guy in Geneva. Our friend, our guy, the mayor, His Honor, Kevin Burns.
And I am friends of yours, and I am delighted you chose Geneva for your holiday party. It's wonderful. The water's better, the atmosphere is better, and you guys make it holiday-like just being here.
Let me say this to you. You've been on our show a couple times,
Yes.
and you've always, I think we helped you win the election.
I will give credit where credit is due. Absolutely.
Not our job. That's not our
It's not our job, but I'm just saying you did a good job, and that helps. That helps
yeah.
things out.
Well, it's fun to have an organic conversation with people.
The fact is, we've had all the candidates for office, with
Yes,
one
you did.
exception, on, and they all were great. So
Yeah.
anyway, how are things? How's life?
Life is very good. Life is very good. We're delighted to be lucky as a community. We're delighted to be led by good, big-hearted people and a great citizenry that supports everything.
Any special plans for 2026 we should know about?
Well, we have a
Road construction.
Well, certainly road construction continues on the East State Street corridor. That is a 2.5-year project.
Yes,
But I think most exciting is that we have a referendum for a new police facility.
I saw that.
And we're excited to share with the community the need, not the want, but the need for a new police facility.
And I'm a little biased because I work with you for a couple of terms, but you're for the friends, all your friends in Geneva here. He's a good guy, and I can say that from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much.
appreciate it. Thanks,
And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody.
Kevin Burns, Mayor of Geneva. We'll be right back.
Billy, what are these chains for?
Has she been naughty this year?
And maybe you've been a bad boy yourself.
Well, this is Billy and Lauren here from the Diamond Air with affordable solutions to correct misbehavior of your loved one, or better yet, reward it.
You can reward that naughty behavior this year with a pair of beautiful solitaire earrings, or already have some? We'll enhance those studs by surrounding them with a halo of brilliant diamonds that we call earring jackets. And for that really naughty behavior, choose from a vast selection of colorless, ideal cut loose diamonds.
Because we buy our diamonds directly from the cutter, skipping the middle guy, you can give her designer quality at half the price.
So call 630-355-RING or come visit us at the Diamond Air, and we will help you keep that special someone naughty all year long.
With the Diamond Air, you will get a larger, better quality diamond for less, because remember, gentlemen, size does matter.
Shay, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Brochure speaks for itself too.
The brochure is right here, and it's called Just a Couple of Guys, one podcast at a time, an exquisite tour of Tuscany and Rome, and a lot of other places as well. I usually know who's written the brochure by the adjectives they use. Exquisite is a Paul word, so it's a Paul word. Mary would be spectacular, and I would be something else entirely. But anyway, it goes on the 11th of October to the 20th. It's 4,395, which is still, we're lucky these days to be able to put out tours at that price.
And that includes airfare,
If it-
hotels, transportation,
Holiday Inn. We doing it?
food, couple meals a day, not necessarily 3.
Okay. The highlights are 2 nights in Tuscany, in San Gimignano, which is one of my favorite Tuscan towns. Italian cooking class, vineyard visits, amazing Siena. Montecatini Terme is another beautiful resort. Cinque Terre, the city of Florence.
You only can get to Cinque Terre by either boat or train. Is that correct?
You can get there by coach. It drops you off, and then you take the train. Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about pronouncing these names, right?
The Vatican City, in Rome, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Deluxe motor coach. We know the guides. They're all fabulous. Our guides in Italy are the best, and our drivers. It's all in the brochure, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time with this quick commercial break, except to say they had a fabulous time in Ireland. I was supposed to go with them, but I wasn't able to in the end. But they didn't need me. They had Jerry from Kerry who looked after them
Kerry took care of it.
tremendously well.
After watching Jerry.
And I would just say one more thing, and this is why we're tied in. We do a small vignette every day, 10 minutes, and we get everybody involved who want to be involved. You don't want to be involved? No problem. If you want to be involved, we'll get you on the film. We send the tape home every day, and for 9 days,
I follow the entire tour last year on the podcast. It was absolutely fabulous. But there you go.
And then finally, Kevin, our crafty cinematographer,
The guy in the hat.
he puts together. He takes pictures galore. You really don't have to take pictures because he'll have a photo album for you at the end of the trip that's better than anything you'll put together. So I just want to make that.
And I'm not in any of them, so they'll be good for
Anyway.
No, it's going to be fun. Any questions, you can certainly come over and ask me, or you can call Mary or Paul in Intertrav. Intertrav, of course, is a St. Charles. What would they be at this stage? They're there a long time.
Exactly.
Part of the furniture.
And I had both Mark House and Paul House in class.
Correct.
Among others in this room.
Maybe you can expand to Geneva soon.
Oh, maybe.
Instead of going to Italy, we're just going to Cicero.
Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm here if you need me.
Shay Clark. First of all, I want you to bless our crowd, please.
In nomine Patri, Filii, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
He is about as close as you can get to the Pope as anybody in the room here. Our friend, our guy, Tony Stancotti, Notre Dame fan extraordinaire, and St. Charles nice guy as well.
That's
and
right.
hey,
Thank you.
did Notre Dame get shafted or what?
I'd say royally.
Royally.
Royally. I mean,
Pat-
it doesn't get any better than that.
I don't believe that to be true, but
Why would you not
the
think
system is flawed. I'll say that.
All right, we agree upon that.
Can we
They're
talk
one of the best
about
12 teams in the country. We know that. But Tony and I have gone to numerous Notre Dame games together. We're big fans. And anyway, we all wish you a happy new year on that note.
Absolutely. Everybody
Thanks for
enjoy
coming,
the
Tony.
year. Take care.
Thank you for coming, Tony. Tony Stancotti, somebody you should know.
Hey, we're back at Aurelio's and our little Christmas party with Nick Nagley
From Whiskey Acres.
from Whiskey Acres.
Whiskey.
Well, I was just making sure I pronounced it correctly. Nick is joining us. We appreciate that. Nick, tell us a little bit about Whiskey Acres.
Whiskey Acres is a distillery that we built on our farm over in DeKalb, Illinois. We raise corn, wheat, and rye and make award-winning bourbon from it. And I think the most important thing you should know is you can get it up and down the Fox Valley. When it warms up, we can go have another cocktail together at the Kane County Cougars.
And I'm just going to say, our relationship with him emanates from doing the podcast at the Cougar Stadium. And they're right there with you. And you like that bourbon lemon slush.
Bourbon slush.
That's right. And Nick, maybe next year you can have our annual Christmas party at your place.
Call me. We'll gladly do it. So.
I like that concept. I think think about that. Oh, you'll welcome us out there for
See
a
you
podcast,
tomorrow?
won't you?
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Talk to our-
Samples
talk
of
to our
plenty.
manager over here.
All right.
Samples. All right, Nick. Well, thank you very
Thanks
much
for
for
having us.
coming
Merry
in.
Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Nick,
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
this is a distinct pleasure for me to introduce Bill Rex, and I say that because Bill Rex is Mr. Marathon. He has run over 585 marathons. He's my hero. We had him on the podcast when we were old school, just audio only. Bill, you ready for another marathon?
Yeah.
Like maybe when?
March 21st,
And that's going to be where?
Hendersonville, North Carolina.
This guy's a wrecking machine. Pat?
Bill, do you train or coach people?
I just try and follow Ray.
Because I'm thinking of a marathon in 2032.
Oh, good year. It's a good year.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Bill and I run the track at the Delnor Health and Wellness Center on a regular basis. We've also run a few races together. Again, he's a personal hero of mine. We're happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I'm having a great time. People are fine. Beer's good.
And he's a Sox fan to boot.
You bet.
Merry Christmas, Bill. Thank you very much.
Bill Rex.
Thank you, Pat.
Well, we're back, and as promised, for the first time in 4 years, we got the man out from behind the camera. Our crafty, and I repeat, our crafty cinematographer with this hat of his, 𝐘𝐞𝐚. 𝐘𝐞𝐚 is here, and it's like bringing Oz out from behind the curtain.
A lot of people always ask me whether 𝐘𝐞𝐚 was real, and I said, yeah, he's real. Well, we never saw him, and I'm like, well, that's not my fault. But yeah, he's real. He's here. This hat, was that a purchase or a gift?
There was a purchase.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. But tell us a little bit about what you do, Kevin, outside of the videography.
Besides videography, I'm the publisher of Fox Valley Magazine. I do the ad sales. I do put together a lot of the content for the magazine. Also post a lot on our social media platform, which Paul does a lot of the news articles, and I'll post them sometimes. And
Paul says that you're essential to the magazine. Is that true?
I hope so, because I'm the only person that works in the magazine besides our graphic designer. So I should hope so.
Yeah.
Let me say something here. I've posted the magazine on my webpage or my Facebook page many times. I've commended the publisher here, Mr. 𝐘𝐞𝐚, on numerous occasions for the quality of work. The first question I have is, what year did you go to purely digital from hard copy?
I think it's been over 10 years, I think, since we've been digital. I mean, we had a really nice looking printed copy, but now I like to say we're saving a lot of trees by going 100% digital. Not to mention we got a much bigger audience.
Well, and I would just say that you haven't lost a beat at all in the fact that that magazine every month, and people, it's very easy to access, and you can just go page to page, put it on your computer, and get all the. Hey, well, here's a question: How do you select those wines of the month?
Actually, I reach out to all the local wineries, and they are allowed to submit any wine they want to, along with a little description, and then it all comes in. You put them together, lay out really nicely, and again, somebody who doesn't get enough credit is Laura Bari, who's our graphic designer. She's been doing great work for years,
For Laura.
but she's the one who makes it look good. I get all the stuff, but she's the one that really makes everything look
Let
good.
me ask a question. I used to do a little videography in my day. Isn't it difficult to do videography when you have a couple of people like Ray and Pat? Doesn't that make it challenging?
That does make it a little challenging, and especially when Pat likes to slide out of the camera view from now to then, like half the time. But you know, you ever look? You see me slowly turning the camera, trying not to make it look obvious. I'm trying to get
We're just trying to hide the
Pat back in the
pandemic
frame,
effect,
but it all works out.
Now, let me ask this important question. We started this adventure in April of 2022, and be honest about this now. Pull no punches. How long did you give this podcast?
I know it's going to do at least a year, because we're going to certainly give it all for a year. And I think obviously you being the former mayor of St. Charles and Pat being a former Kane County prosecutor, I thought we had both kind of had your own followings, and then with good marriage with the magazine and our social media platform, I thought it'd go pretty well.
Well,
let's get them on the record, Ray. So you're saying that we've been a success?
Yeah, it's definitely been a success. I mean, as the people tuning in, we get a lot of compliments.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
I have to make an admission to the crowd. We've had our ups and downs over the past almost 4 years here now, but the fact remains that
no fist fights yet.
No fist fights.
Maybe a couple times, but
couple of names were thrown out.
the fact remains we're still alive and well. We're finishing our 4th year, looking forward to a 5th year, and looking forward to a trip to Italy in the fall as part of the whole process.
Let's
And
talk about that because we went to Ireland, and you were a photographer basically for that trip, and you put together like a montage of photos for everybody.
just a minute, 1-800-FREEDOM just walked in the
Oh
room.
my God! And so Italy is in late October, mid-October, I guess. You would do the same thing, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Obviously, who doesn't want to go to Italy? And then obviously, so many things to take pictures of. It should be easy. All you got to do is point and shoot. And my philosophy is, if you take enough pictures, a couple of them are going to turn out.
That's
so,
right. That's
Well,
right.
we won't. We know you're a busy man producing this left and right, but I think I speak for Pat when I say we really appreciate the fine work that you do on a regular basis, putting together this podcast. I know our crack producer back in Michigan, snowed out as usual, is very happy with our work, and so I would just simply say thank you, sir, for a job well done.
Yeah, I think one of the fun. I don't think we talked about it. One of the funnest things, obviously, is celebrity interviews. I mean, those are always fun to track down, and you would not believe behind the scenes things you got to do to try to get to people. So
You're talking about outside of the hosts.
yes, they're like Paul Reiser. Before
Pat like Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser. Who else? Obviously Jim Belushi.
The soup Nazi. Don't forget the soup
Oh
Nazi.
yeah, yes.
I'll
Larry
take credit
Thomas.
for lassoing Donnie Wahlberg.
You got Kenny Anderson, which is great too.
Kenny Anderson was there. So
Mhm.
anyway, all right.
we've had
Well,
quite a year.
we carry on because I'm staring at Gary Johnson over there eating a piece of
We
pizza,
have to bring
and
it
I know
up.
we have to talk to him for
We
a
have to bring
second.
it
So
up.
we'll take another break.
The room just got brighter, by the way, and that's not a bulge.
𝐘𝐞𝐚, our crafty cinematographer. We'll be right back.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. Gary Johnson, fashionably.
Remember, we're at the start of the podcast. Here.
He's on
I was the
time.
first one.
That's exactly
You
right.
were the
And you
first
poured
interview.
yourself a glass of wine.
Yes,
Yes.
I came late. I was working late, and
Oh yeah, he was working. That's
so
right.
I got some cold pizza and some good wine. And
You're not complaining about the pizza. No.
Pat, we should make a reference to the fact that Gary
Yes.
was one of our initial interviews
Right.
when the podcast began
I was
in
the first
April of 2022. That's what I'm
I was
saying.
the first one. I don't know if I was the first one aired, but I was the first one
You were
in.
the first one taken.
That's
yes.
exactly right.
Gary was also a colleague of mine. We worked together at a very preeminent law firm in St. Charles.
Actually-
And at the state's attorney's
And he
office.
was my boss at the state.
Well, and if I may tell this story very quickly, and Gary was involved in this, we won the state mock trial championship in 1989. I was told I can bring a lawyer to Louisville, Kentucky, for the national tournament. I called Mr. Gary Johnson. We're fellow White Sox fans and Millie Fox fans.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
So I called him and I said, "Hey, that guy you have over there, Pat Crimmins, can he come with me to Louisville?" He said, "I don't give a crap. That's fine with me." And
Anything to get me out of the office.
and the rest was history. But I want
There
to
you go.
publicly thank you for
Oh, you're welcome,
establishing that link, because Pat now, as you know,
35 years of
pro bono work
That's
for
right.
the school district in St. Charles.
And still doing it, aren't you?
no, I'm done.
Oh, okay. I thought you were. All right.
Uh,
At North.
let's talk a little bit of the first thing that you talked about was your book that you
Right.
wrote.
Oh,
When
I
was
read that book.
When was that published?
Luck is a Talent. It was published in I'm trying to guess the year here. 20. We're in 25. I think it was 21. It was
21.
2021. Yeah.
And obviously, it's boosted your income and such because you have a villa.
Well,
Is that not in Tuscany?
Profits for that went to charity. So no,
So, but I mean, the
it didn't go to
topic-
my home in Tuscany. No.
The topic obviously is very sensitive, but it involved the 𝐘𝐞𝐚 murder in DuPage County.
Right.
So,
And we talked about that at length in that first interview. But you predominantly now do defense work, correct?
True.
And the only question I have as somebody who taught law and appreciates law is how tough is the transition from being a prosecutor to doing defense work?
Well, it's the flip side of the same coin, but that being said, there are different skills that you need. kind of a different attitude. You have to be able to, you have to have you're dealing personally with clients. Now, prosecutors, they kind of have clients. They have victims who the victim prosecutor relationship is sort of like the client relationship, but it's not actually a attorney client relationship like you have as a defense lawyer.
When you first put out the shingle as for defense work, was the transition somewhat challenging?
A little bit, yeah. I made some silly mistakes that fortunately didn't hurt my client that I had to correct, in certain cases. But it was okay.
Yeah. And finally, if you had to give Pat Crimmins a grade like a teacher for his prosecutorial work over the years, that letter grade would be?
It would be a pass.
Pass. Thank you. I'm glad.
Damn my faint praise.
I'm glad to hear that. Pass.
Wow.
With that, we'll take a small.
Wait a minute, don't hang on. I was just kidding around.
I think I wanted him to be on the podcast.
Anyway,
that was the gang prosecutor, and
we know that.
Rose up through the office. He was an excellent prosecutor.
Excellent.
All right.
Outstanding.
Hey,
top of the line.
I wanted to talk about this. Are you writing another book?
I am writing another book.
And can you give us a tease? They say in the business we call it a tease.
Well, my first book, Luck is a Talent, which is you can still get on Amazon,
What's that title mean, by the way?
Luck is a Talent was a quote from William Somerset Maugham, who basically I think was tipping the hat to that luck is some people have a knack for luck, and it's kind of like you earn your luck.
I have a quote that's luck is the residue of design. So Lombardi, that was Lombardi's quote.
Right.
So you are able to be there for that interception because you planned ahead, right? Same thing.
Well, the point was I was very lucky in many aspects of my career. But
all I can say is,
I never saw luck. I saw hard work.
Hey, King County's been lucky to have both these guys in the prosecution office and working on defense for those who need a good lawyer. 1-800-FREEDOM, right?
Well, that's his phone number. Mine is normal person. Let me ask this question, though. We didn't get to the book.
The new book.
Yeah. What's it about?
This one's a novel. So we're
novel.
It's a novel this time.
Novella or novel?
Novel. And what we're doing is it's a book about a lawyer and a prosecutor.
Oh, Jesus. Am I in this?
No, you're not. And the prosecutor happened to in previous years, it's a murder case. Prosecutor several years before had prosecuted the defense lawyer for stealing money out of his trust account, which trust account money belongs to clients. So he was charged with theft and sent to jail, and she prosecuted him. And now they're waiting. They're sitting out talking to each other at a bar as they're waiting for this murder trial jury verdict.
And the publishing date on this may be.
Man, I don't know.
You're still working.
I've got a beginning and an end. The middle is.
Well, maybe I can find my way inside the middle chapters.
I'll get you.
I want to read this book and find Pat Crimmins in there somewhere. We're going to take a small break. We thank Gary Johnson for joining us here at
Thanks for having me.
annual. I guess we're going to say annual party now, right? We've got offers to go to other places.
Well, we're going to do the podcast as long as it is allowed. Right?
That's right.
That's the
All right. We'll be right back,
Thanks,
though.
gentlemen.
You're welcome. Good to see you, man.
You too, man.
Merry Christmas.
You guys.
I've been thinking about you, boy. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about, yeah, yeah. 내 맘은 사람 손으로 하여 우리 눈엔 완벽한 lover. 내 맘은 사람 손으로 하여.
All right, we're back, and we're obviously Pat Crimmins and Ray Rogita, just a couple of guys. You might notice that we've changed environments a little bit. We thought maybe we would talk about the year-end review and the year ahead from the Zoom camera so that it's a little quieter and maybe we could hear each other. Ray, how you doing? Did you enjoy the party?
Yes, Pat, I did. I thought you did a tremendous job in organizing it, putting it together, and bringing a variety of different individuals to the site. Specific thanks to Kevin and Tracy Sarah. They were remarkable as hosts. Our waitress Natalie did a great job, and all in all, a great time. And I think I've already talked to a few people who were there and said that they had a wonderful time.
The sad thing is, and I think you pointed this out offline, is that there's an expectation that we're going to do this all the time. And Paul, Paul wrote the check here, so I don't know.
Well, Paul's on site today with us, and I'm sure before we're done talking today, he'll chime in at some point. We know that.
Right.
He might give us some clues as to whether or not it becomes an annual event or not.
Well, in addition to the people you thanked, I wanted to thank everybody who showed up. Most of them were affiliated with the podcast throughout the year or throughout the podcast generally in its 4 years, right? So I wanted to thank everybody for coming. Obviously, yes, Aurelio's, the staff, the food was fantastic. We want to thank Paul for I guess, volunteering to take care of everything, and we appreciate that. The last person that I spoke with was Gary Johnson. I think he was sitting at our table, complaining about the cold pizza and giving us a little brief introduction into his next novel. Isn't that right?
Well, your word brief there is a little bit out of context. I think I'm not sure it was a conversation more than it was Gary opining on a variety of things, but we do love him, as you know, and
yes,
one of our first guests, and I would never say anything derogatory about Gary Johnson.
Friend of the podcast. Yeah. And unfortunately, the room wasn't big enough to accommodate everybody. We had the magician, the people with the sparklers, the jugglers. Nobody could come in because we just didn't have room. Maybe next year the environment will get a little bigger. But what we want to do today is talk a little bit about the year that was, the guests that we had along the way, and then give a little peek into the year ahead. Obviously, we had Shay Clark talk a little bit about Italy, and people can certainly go to Intertrav and look that trip up. Just a couple of guys, Intertrav. The idea is exquisite Tuscany and Rome. If they're interested, they could certainly refer back to the podcast where Shay talks about the trip and what exactly we're doing.
And Pat, if I may, I'm holding up the brochure.
Right.
We did pass a number of those brochures out at the party. And again, there'll be more as the new year comes up on board. We'll be talking more about a trip to Italy in October.
And our good friends at Aurelio's have kept some brochures to hand out to customers. Little did they know, with their spaghetti, they're getting a invitation. So I wanted to start off talking about 2025 with the election coverage that we did. Obviously, we interviewed a bunch of mayoral candidates that were running: Aurora, Batavia, St. Charles, and Geneva. We want to congratulate John Lesh from Aurora. Jeff Schelke, of course, won again. Clint Hull was able to win in St. Charles. And Geneva, podcast friend Kevin Burns was able to carry the day. But we did want to shout out to the candidates who came on to talk about the race. I think you would agree, Ray, we like to be involved in some of that to give the consumers of our podcast some idea who the candidates are and some of the things that the candidates are standing for and running for.
Well, you mentioned the various mayoral races, and again, I thought that everybody who came on were able to articulate their positions very well. I think we only had one candidate who, for reasons of either arrogance or timidity, chose not to join us. But the rest of them, if you will, there was certainly we can argue there was an upset in Aurora. My point being simply, I think we brought to the people a lot of information from the candidates that they were able to disseminate. In addition to that, Pat, you were able to line up, because of your connections, you were able to line up several judges in the judges' races, and we also had the county board chairman race and the state's attorney's race as well. So I think you're exactly right. During the election year, we had a plethora of information to give to our audiences.
Yeah, and I think the audience benefits from that. We like to give both sides, obviously. Judge Parga and Judge Clement, I think, were on, as well as Jamie Mosser, the current sitting state's attorney. and of course, Corinne Parag, the sitting county board chairman. Ray, who would you like to talk to in addition or talk about?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We had that run up to the casino in Rockford. That stands out for me because I thought that they'd done a good job here of putting together a nice compact place of entertainment that provides gaming, provides food, provides entertainment, and it's nice and compact, and it's right off the toll road. And I thought, and in addition, Pat, they were one of the guests we had who were very cordial in providing us with some swag, if you will. And I just thought that was a nice trip and a nice showcase that people here in the Fox Valley, if they choose not to go to Elgin or Aurora, there's Rockford right here, and not too far, not too distant.
It was very impressive. They have a nice music venue.
Yes.
They had lots of games. Obviously, you could play the games on the video, which I thought was interesting, and like roulette, as opposed to being there by the wheel. You could play roulette on a machine. I'm a little naive about gambling. I don't do it as a hobby. Also, the swag. You got what? You got something, a sweatshirt or something? Very nice.
Hard Rock sweatshirt from Rockford. You know, that's
Yeah.
a collector's item.
I think it should be clear. I think it should be
well,
clear that the podcast welcomes all types of swag.
Absolutely. No question about it. No
Whether
question.
it's a sweatshirt or a coffee mug or whatever it might be.
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
That's right.
Hey,
Well,
you said what was some of my favorites, and I was just going to mention one more that tugs at my heart, and you were really talking a lot about it relative to your childhood, and that's the bike rack. And Hal Honeyman over there and his family and Project Mobility. I thought that was one of our better podcasts personally, and because of the cause and because of what he does for the community. That one stood out for me.
yeah, it's the bike rack as a enterprise is a mainstay in the city of St. Charles on the west side there. And like I said during the podcast, I grew up over there. Always had an issue with my bike. They always helped me fix it. As you might imagine, I hit a few parked cars. I had a lot of flat tires. They always helped me through the darkness of my troubles. But great family and a great business, and St. Charles is lucky. Obviously, we had Heidi Stevens, and I think the podcast was lucky to have her. She's a reporter for the Chicago Tribune. She does a variety of other things, and she has a Facebook page called Balancing Act, where people can talk about a variety of things, and she puts her articles on there, and she was wonderful, and I'm happy I got to know her. She threw a keg as a bowling ball. I think we had video of that, kind of an unusual thing. I never did that in college, Ray. I don't know about you. Those ISU people are fairly conservative, right? They don't do that kind of thing. But
I was on the intramural bowling champs, Pat. I just want to make a comment on that at ISU.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know no kegs down the alley though.
No
Hey,
kegs.
listen, I saw that one though. You did that solo. I watched that. You did a great job with her, and I agree with you. She's a fine writer. Tribune's lucky to have her, and we were lucky to have her on the podcast.
yes, very much so. And then we could segue into a couple of characters from one of my favorite shows, Seinfeld. We had the soup Nazi, and we had the attorney Jackie Childs, and both of
AKA Phil Morris.
yeah, both of the characters wonderful on the show. Larry Thomas, the soup Nazi, also segued into the Cougars because they had, I think, soup Nazi night or something.
Seinfeld night.
Seinfeld night. And so that was part of I guess it was a dual thing. We had the Cougars and we had Larry Thomas. And of course, Phil Morris zoomed in from California. We talked about the show. We talked about his dad on the great Mission Impossible, right?
Well, the one part of that particular interview that really got to me is when he started talking about his childhood.
Right.
And he started talking about the fact that he'd walk into a room sometimes and he'd see, I know he had some controversy of late, but longtime honored comedian Bill Cosby, and then Sidney Poitier. He said they'd be sitting there talking to my dad in the living room, and I didn't know who they were at the time, but he was reflecting upon that, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, just a nice man altogether. And if I may, and Kevin and Paul bring a lot of these people in when through their connection with the magazine, but I would say in the time we've had national figures on, I can't think back to one, not even one. There was arrogant, there was standoffish.
Right.
They always made us feel warm, and I always felt good then in talking to them. That's over the last 4 years, completely and totally, from Chaz Palminteri back in year one and Jim Belushi all the way to the present.
I discovered the Touche French Creole, a fantastic new restaurant out in Aurora, and you heard the story from the chefs. Let me get their names real quick here. Rashawn Hendricks and Keontae Tools. And they told us how they learned how to cook in foods class in junior college, and how they
Pat Joliet Junior College,
that's
my alma mater, and the oldest public community college in America.
He's always recruiting for the college. He's like one of those football guys at Alabama. But then they connected with JH Hospitality Group, opened up the restaurant, fantastic ambiance there, beautiful bar. And then they gave us some food to try, and it was out of this world. I'm a big fan of the catfish. Everything was great. You would agree?
Pat, I would make the proposal that we ought to shimmy on down to downtown Aurora sometime here in the early part of the year.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell them we're coming, but we'll walk in and say, we know these guys, give us a table, and then let's just have a fun evening with some, as you just suggested, some wonderful food. Creole food. Wonderful.
I actually bought a gift card for my son to take his girlfriend. I like those guys a lot. They're down to earth.
They really were.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Pat, I was going to just say that we had a number of guests throughout the year that focus. They were in the music trade, and I put them all together in a grouping. We'll go through them individually, but they all fall into the music category. And I want to start with the guy that an original member of Chicago, and I'm thinking about the Jimmy Pankow and Robert Lamb, but Danny Serafine we had on, and he was the original drummer for Chicago. And boy, oh boy, we got talking to him, and it just brought back some memories. These guys have been around for over 50 years, and
Right.
and still playing to big crowds. They're coming to Chicago or to the Rosemont in August. I'll probably go to that one for about the 6th or 7th concert. I really enjoyed talking to him a lot.
I haven't been to a concert in a long time. Do they still have like the lighters and stuff for the encores?
They use the phone. They use the phones now. The lights on the phone.
Now,
They do that.
How old was he? I can't remember.
Well, Seraphine's in his 70s.
Yeah.
So
So
they're all the original guys are all in their 70s, and they're going strong. And of course, they've added to the group, but the group's got the great sound and all the great songs, and you just can't go wrong at a Chicago concert. He obviously came out here. He's got his own group going, the California Transit Authority.
That's right.
And they played in Des Plaines, they played the Arcada, and I think it's a worthwhile show, obviously, to go to. He's going to play a lot of
And
Chicago
I think
music.
everybody knows this, but just in case you don't, obviously you can see all of these podcasts on our YouTube site. So go there. You can look at these that we're talking about from 2025, or you can go back and listen to the others. And we're also still on Spotify, the original audio, where people didn't see my multiple chins, but they missed out on your fashion, which is, related to various ball clubs. So beyond him, we went into music otherwise with Maureen Christine. Tell us about her.
Well, Maureen Christine, I'm going to put Maureen Christine and Tracy Abukalari together. And the reason I'm doing that is because they're both St. Charles people, number one. And, not that we have an affinity for St. Charles, but you went to high school there and I taught there. So we have
Well, we have an affinity for St. Charles. We
well,
don't have to.
we want to make sure we're broad enough to, we enjoy all the cities in the Fox Valley and beyond, but I'm just saying,
that's right.
It's kind of our home base. So anyway, Maureen Christine playing at private events, singing the national anthem at Wrigley Field, singing in my church, the beauty of all the hymns in the Catholic Church. She's just a blue chipper in the truest sense. And all of a sudden, Kevin says, we're going to interview Tracy Bukalari. And I don't know who she is initially until I start reading and find out this woman is a national figure already because she can do a Taylor Swift tribute. And both interviews, they were just lovely women, gracious, and obviously great voices.
Yeah, very talented. Once again, St. Charles is very proud to produce these talented artists. Tracy is, I think she's coming home soon. I think, I'm Facebook friends with her. She's always very active in announcing things. I can't keep up. My life moves like a tortoise. Other people, they're living by the minute. You know what I mean?
Hey, while we're talking about musicians and music people in St. Charles, I'd be remiss if I didn't pay homage to a person we lost recently who graduated probably about 3 years after you did, Margaret Jane Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Was prolific. I say prolific in a variety of opera houses from New York all the way across the country.
Right.
She just passed away recently up in Wisconsin. And I just want to say to the family, we think the world of Margaret Jane Ray in St. Charles and her start there and what she did throughout the country as a singer.
Correct me if I'm wrong, distinguished alum?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
believe so. Then, before we leave music, and this was recently as well, you and I made a trek up north, and I say up north, just to Elgin, Illinois, and to the Ħemmens, and had a wonderful onstage concert conversation.
Right.
Hopefully, I'm going to get to a concert here one of these days.
Right.
With Chad Goodman, the maestro of the Elgin Symphony Orchestra.
Wonderful young man.
Oh.
I really enjoyed talking to him. He's obviously very talented, and that's a treasure up there, and we should all take more advantage of it. There's no doubt about that.
Their program, which you can find online, and they've been just a side note, they've been a nice sponsor of ours as well. So I'm happy for that. But the fact of the matter is, their program and their whole schedule for the year is online, and you can the pricing up there to go and see some wonderful music and hear some wonderful music is dirt cheap compared to where you're going to pay in some other places.
One of the things the podcast did and was able to do was take a road trip to the Shedd Aquarium. And I don't know about you, Ray, but I enjoy animals, mammals, otherwise sea creatures, and anacondas, I believe. There was
Pat, I'm sorry you brought that up because in our visit there, and it was wonderful. And with the hostesses we had were wonderful.
Right.
The only thing that I balked at and walked away from was that anaconda sitting there. All these fish are going by, and I'm saying to myself, do you know the danger you're in? But apparently they're not in danger. It was just my imagination. That big snake sitting there,
But if you can get a backstage pass to the Shedd Aquarium, I can't recommend it enough. It was great. They were great to us, and
they were. Yeah. And Pat, just the whole field museum, the whole museum campus there,
right,
is a treasure, in one of the greatest cities in the world, like Chicago. And not to mention down the line a few miles is the Museum of Science and Industry. So we take a back seat to no one when it comes to that type of offering to school kids and adults.
Right. And by the way, in January, February, I think they have free entrance, no entrance fees. So all the museums have that.
Other individuals we had on that I want to quickly mention. We finally got Ron Onesti, and we actually taped him once, and that kind of got screwed up here in one way or the other. I don't recall the specifics. I think it was a
Technical. Yeah.
technical difficulty. Yes. So we got him back a second time. But the one thing he talked about, which I'm really fired up about, is the fact that here we move into 2026 and the Arcata becomes 100 years old. And it sounds to me like he's going to have a massive celebration to recognize that, as he should, and he will, and it will be something. And I'm hoping that as you asked him, you said, will the podcast be involved in that? And he promised it would. So we'll have to stay tuned and see if in 2026 we get back to the Arcata for a purpose of celebrating its 100th birthday.
I'm always trying to glom onto something. We want to get the podcast out there. Well, we just had the Hall of Fame narrowed down a little bit, and Eli Manning, of course, made it over my objection. Jim Plunkett, nowhere to be seen. But one of our favorite interviews this year was Kenny Anderson, quarterback from the Cincinnati Bengals and the Batavia Bulldogs.
Well, you said it during the podcast, as I remember correctly. You said there must be something in the water in Batavia because there a period of a couple of years there, they produced the following individuals as graduates. Anderson, as you said, is going to possibly step into the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. And by the way, just as a side note, Plunkett deserves to go as well. I have no problem with Jim Plunkett getting it either. But Kenny Anderson deserves to be in there, and I hope he gets it. But in that class, I see this guy all the time at the health club, Dean Anderson, who was Kenny Anderson was his backup when he was a quarterback in his senior year. And then he was all-state in basketball. He's in the Illinois High School Basketball Hall of Fame, and I see him all the time. And then, of course, Jeff Schelke, King Jeff Schelke, the mayor of Batavia, working on his 46th year as mayor. And then somebody who's a little under the radar, Byron Von Hoff, but he played minor league baseball. These are all people in the same class, lived in the same neighborhood. And the late Craig Sager, who was a great announcer on TBS with his colorful suits and so on, he was a couple of years later. So you're right. That Batavia late 60s crowd made a national name for themselves, and Anderson led the charge. And once again, this guy is all these passing yardage, Hall of Fame potential, and he gave us the time of day for about an hour and talked like we were old friends.
And of course, Ray, one of the great interviews that we had in terms of sports was the great Dan Issel, also from Batavia.
Another part of that class or classes, 66, 67, etc., NBA Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean, and another guy that we talked to like it was old home week.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you want to talk about the water of Batavia, there was apparently a special aquifer because Anderson and Issel were neighbors, right?
Yes, indeed. They were right across the yard, the backyard. One backyard backed up to the other, and that was that. But Issel never played against them, but he was playing the same time as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And, and then, of course, he went against Dr. J and a variety of others in the old ABA and then came into the NBA. I really enjoyed both those interviews tremendously.
Yes, fantastic. And then before we get into the Cougars and our trip to Ireland, we were able to talk to another Hollywood personality, Tom Arnold. You remember that podcast?
Well, I do remember it for these couple of facts. One, he didn't talk a lot about Roseanne.
No.
No. One of his 4 wives, you had a great quip about wives, but I'll let you repeat it if you so desire. That would be 1.1. But the other thing, fascinating discussion about his growing up in Iowa.
Right.
And then just throwing his sister under the bus saying, yeah, she sold meth, but then came back to say, but now she's rehabilitated herself. So I thought that was a part of the interview that was fascinating.
Yes. Yeah, we've had a lot of stars talk about their families and drug issues and that kind of thing, Belushi. So people come to the podcast and they just let it all out, Ray. I think that's because the hosts are so forthcoming. So let's talk about the Cougars. Obviously, we have been blessed with the idea of covering the Cougars. We have gone there for years. And once again in 2025, we went there several times to do a variety of podcasts. You were able to do some play-by-play or color, I guess. I don't know which it was. Play-by-play, probably. And the Cougars, of course, won the league again, back to back. So it's a fantastic relationship, a great sponsor, and we enjoy ourselves every time we go out there. You would agree?
Well, yes, without a doubt, I agree, and I become as a huge Cougar fan of the process. You know,
right?
I can't deny the fact that have I attended a lot of Cougar games over the past number of years? No. And all of a sudden, I meet Curtis Haug. Our first interview with him, one of the first of 4 now, though, you know, and we'll hopefully get him on in a couple of months again for another preview.
Right.
And this guy here makes it all happen. And in the process, he makes us comfortable in the environment that is Northwestern Medicine field and all of its different attractions, if you will. A couple things, Pat, about one, the play-by-play was wonderful. I'm going to say this right now online. Two points. One, I really appreciated both Connor Klingon and Colin Rudisill for allowing me to go in the press box. And I'm going to work incessantly this year at saying that it's time that we both get in there and do something with them. And I'm sure we can pull that off. So just a note to self, with play-by-play in 2026, the two of just a couple of guys doing an inning or two or whatever.
And don't underestimate my knowledge of baseball.
I do not at all. Even though you're warped to some extent by this Oakland A's thing, but now Las Vegas A's, Sacramento A's.
We're signing free agents out of nowhere. I can't get over.
Oh, the White Sox got somebody from Oakland. I think he's good. I'm not sure though. Anyway, I make that point.
Right.
And then Pat, just the myriad of players we talked to that were fun to talk to. These guys are very interesting individuals. The accountant from Elburn,
right?
The accountant with 4 kids at age 36 is having fun playing for the Cougars. You know.
What about the guy who was born at the same time the earthquake was going on during the World Series? Mazza.
Yes, our guy, Mazza.
Our guy.
And then 1 or 2 trips around that darn stadium and all of the different food that we were able to just sample to show the audience. You come to the Cougars, food and drink is part of the program. It has to be part of the program because there's so many good offerings. And last but not least, if I may, a point of personal privilege, and I've shown this to a couple of people and they really enjoyed it, but I enjoyed our interview together in the kids zone with my grandson Henry.
Oh yeah,
that was a highlight for me in the summer. The fact that he was able to articulate Jackie Robinson and the whole racial thing at 6.5 years of age, I thought was pretty solid. So hats off to my grandson Henry, and maybe we'll have him back this summer as well for something or other.
And if I may, I've seen some of Henry playing baseball on the various social medias, and the kid's got quite a swing.
Well, he works with Dan Pasqua, former good old number 44, formerly of the White Sox.
Yeah,
at a camp. Matthew takes him there, and you know, he's learning the game. We'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll see him there someday. Maybe the podcast in its 20th year, we'll be watching Henry Rogina out there.
Yeah,
we can't forget to mention Claire. Claire's always helpful as well.
Claire is a gem, and congratulations to her on her upcoming nuptials.
Yes.
But and by the way, note to Claire, you still have time if we pull this off. You could have your honeymoon in Italy along with the podcast. you made that because the timing of the wedding is about the same time we may be going to Italy. So I just want to point that out. No pressure, but just an offer, if nothing else.
No pressure. That's right.
But you're right about Claire and Curtis. Should be very happy to have an individual like her on staff.
That's
that
right.
does the job. And by the way, Jim Leo, the PA announcer at the Cougars. Also, I go to Blackhawk games, and here's Jim Leo subbing and doing the call, and he was wonderful. And so I'll throw out Jim Leo as well.
Well, didn't I
Cougars is
hear
a wonderful organization?
Yeah, didn't I hear Connor doing a basketball game?
Oh, he's got lacrosse, he's got basketball, he got
Yeah.
hockey. He does high school football. Connor's the real deal. I don't know how long he's going to stay with the Cougars. I think he can be moving up the ladder with your guy from the Pittsburgh Penguins, Joe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Wayne Randazzo, but yeah.
Well, no, but Wayne goes back a couple of years.
Right.
Hey, last but not least, and I'll let you start because you're of Irish descent. We probably should just say a few words in recapping our Ireland trip, which first annual, and Intertrav liked this apparently. So that's the good news there. But having said that, your thoughts?
Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's everything you ever wanted it to be. We got really lucky with the weather, but by all accounts, right?
think?
I mean, there was no rain or mist or clouds. It was sunny every day. I almost, basically, I packed the wrong stuff, but I think we all did. So, but as we were traversing the hills, the joy was abundant, and made a lot of new friends, solidified some old friendships, and just had fun. What was your favorite place or destination that we went?
Well, I think a couple. Always when we go to Dublin, and this is my second trip to Dublin, I've always enjoyed Dublin just itself, And so I'm even though I went to new places, the return to Dublin was fine. But I will take a town that's where the Titanic ended up, Cobh, down at the southern tip. The beauty and picturesque scenery there, the
Right.
churches and the colorful homes and so on the bay, just startled me. I walked up a number of steps just to get a panoramic view. A couple of cruise ships were sitting there in the harbor, and that really stood out to me as well. I think a lot of Ireland. Please, the Dingle Peninsula was wonderful too, very
Right.
picturesque. But those would be some of the highlights. But having said that, a man of Italian descent, for the most part, you're lucky to be Irish because the Irish people are the best.
Great people.
Make no bone. If our trip pans out and we go to Italy, I'm going to say this up front. I don't think the Italian people will be as warm and friendly as the Irish people are.
Well, they're always eating or picking grapes. They really don't have time for fun and frivolity. Didn't we do like 30 minutes with some characters by the Titanic?
Oh God, yes. They were
yes.
playing. They were what? you you were insulting that one woman, as I recall. You challenged whether she was actually on the Titanic. I think
That's what we were. It wasn't insulting. We were doing some forensic studies there. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if she was able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she was even on the ship. But there was a lot of fraud historically. You know that.
Oh, yes.
People pretended to be dead, or they pretended to be other people.
Well, I actually, in my first trip to Ireland, I did go up to Belfast, and I saw where the Titanic was made, and went to the museum and learned a lot about the Titanic. And it's just a wonderful. The ending is not wonderful, but it's such an intriguing story,
right?
With a variety of things involved, and in the making of the ship, the setting and the sailing of such. Who was on there, what happened, a variety of side stories. It's just unreal.
Right.
So anyway, Ireland, the best as far as I'm concerned.
And so
Clark, thank you
in summary, we had a wonderful year, wonderful podcast, wonderful guests. We want to thank everybody. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, that were with us throughout the entire year. And so 2026 approaches any minute now. Italy, hopefully, is going to happen in October. And again, if you're interested, you can go to the Intertrav website. But we hope to have new and different guests. There'll be another election. Maybe we'll cover some of that. And we'll just keep exploring the Fox Valley, right?
That's right, Pat. And as the year winds down at the end, I want to just take 2 points here. One, I am wearing my Illinois State jersey today in honor of the fact that they're playing for a national title. on January 5th. I don't know when this will air, but go Redbirds. We're out in
National
Saudi,
title of what, Ray? What is
oh,
it?
this is the sub level below the Division One football, the Division 1A. They're playing Montana State for the title on Monday in Nashville. So
Huh.
we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
ESPN will have it.
What are the odds right now?
8.5.
'Cause,
Montana
it's
State is spot. You get the birds in 8.5 if you go to the window. I'm not going to the window. I'm just going to watch the game and pull for my birds. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to do is just since we are at the end of the year, to both you, Paul, and Kevin, I just want to express the following words as a means of ending the year. For old Lang Syne, let me start again. For old Lang Syne, my friends, for old Lang Syne, we'll drink a cup of kindness yet for the sake of old Lang Syne. Happy New Year, Paul. Happy New Year, Pat.
Well, Happy New Year, Ray. Just like when Harry met Sally, Rob Reiner, may rest in peace. I don't know what that song means. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it's an old Scottish song, and it means old Lang Syne means long ago if you translate it.
Long
And if
ago.
you go on my Facebook page today, you'll see a wonderful rendition of it by Rod Stewart.
That's RayRogina.com. Is that
No, it's my Facebook page, which is open to only select individuals.
That's right. That's only our friend groups, right? Yes.
Yes.
And Paul, thanks for being here today. Thanks for everything. We couldn't
Thank you,
obviously do
guys.
this. We
Yep.
couldn't do this without you. So hopefully we'll have a great 2026, not only as a podcast, but as a nation and as a world, right? And a universe.
Thank you, Elon.
Yes? You agree, Ray?
Indeed.
Okay, I was out there for a while.
Right. That's why I said, let's just drink a cup of kindness.
I see. So on that note, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. We enjoyed our party. We enjoyed summing up the year. And for Ray Rogina, this is Patrick Crimmins on behalf of Paul Stukel and Kevin Ketchum. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next year. That never gets old, does it, Ray?
Never.
Never. All right.
So long,
Take care.
everyone.